This foundation almost failed inspection. I'm going to explain to you exactly what happened, why it almost failed, and what we did to make it right. My name's Brandon. I'm acting as my own general contractor on my own home build. Let's get into it. Before any excavation could begin, I met up with Jeff from Jeff Lutz Masonry and Concrete to go over the site one last time. Even though we had already gone through the plans before and Jeff's been out to the site a few times, it's always a good idea to walk the site together and make sure everyone is on the same page before any dirt gets moved. We went over the site plan, reviewed the foundation drawings, talked about a few last minute details, and finalized the finished floor elevation. One of the big decisions was determining the final grade around the house and how many courses of block I wanted showing above grade. Making those decisions now helps make sure everything ends up where it's supposed to be once the home is set. Once we had everything figured out, Jeff and his crew started laying everything out. They measured the foundation, squared everything up, and stretched string lines to mark exactly where the foundation would be built. Only after all of those measurements were double-checked did the excavation begin. If you've never watched a foundation being excavated before, you'll notice the first thing they do is remove all the topsoil. That's the dark organic layer of soil that's full of roots and other organic material. It's great for growing grass, but it's not something you want to build a foundation on. The topsoil gets piled off to the side and kept separate from the rest of the excavation because it'll be reused later for final grading and landscaping around the house. Once that's out of the way, they can start digging into the more stable soil underneath that's suitable for the foundation. One thing you'll notice Jeff doing here is building a shallow dirt ramp at one end of the foundation. Since this is a manufactured home, the home will eventually be backed onto the foundation by a specialized set crew using hydraulic dollies, dozers, semi-trucks, and other specialized tools. That ramp gives them a smooth, gradual approach so they can get the home up to the foundation safely and in the correct position before it's set in place. Once the home has been installed, the ramp will be removed and the area will be graded to its final elevation. With the excavation finished, the crew now has a nice level building pad to work from. They actually dug a little deeper than where the finished slab will be because it'll eventually be built back up with a compactable sand base before the concrete is poured. From here, they lay the foundation out one final time and start setting up the forms that outline the slab. Those forms become the reference for the rest of the foundation, so it's important to make sure everything is measured accurately and squared up before moving on. Once the forms are in place, they can measure and mark the locations for each pier and start digging.
It's 56.11 and a quarter, I think I was there.
What do you got now?
56.8.
Still a little big.
You got that dirt pile moving your tape too.
Yeah, you're going downhill there.
3 inches off that way.
56 what?
56.8.
Go ahead and push him to 55. Go ahead and push it 56.5. Put it at 56.5. Come straight this way towards me. Yeah, I know.
It's supposed to be 50, well, the diagonal is 49 feet.
Go down.
49 length.
All right, now come over here, Justin.
The home's 48, but they got to be 49 for the plot.
Put it on 49.
Squaring up a building can be pretty challenging sometimes, especially when you have the Three Stooges up on the hill giving our input. There's me, my dad, my cousin Brian, giving our 2 cents with how we would square things up. But Jeff and his crew, they figured it out. They took their time, and the final result is a nice square foundation for my home to sit on.
Right there?
Right, yeah.
That's going to make it too big there, ain't it?
It's always the hardest thing to square something up.
All right, go back there.
2 stakes up here. 3, 5.
Right.
That's what I asked him, but
Oh.
the 3, 4, 5 rule.
Yeah. No. What do you got there?
I got 56.5 and a quarter.
That's exactly what it is.
56.5 is
Right on the
what-
nutsack.
56
Now
by
you got to
quarter
make
is
sure
what it
these.
needs.
Make sure you go down there.
So
Here,
you're
go here.
square now.
Go to that.
Nah,
From that
that
corner,
quarter here.
Your 1/4 inch on the cement, that's not,
that's not bad.
when your slab is set, you better come over here
Set it high, go put it down.
and mark where the height of your fucking cement to where your septic is gonna set.
Grade. This is supposed to be
Because
grade.
to make sure you have enough run from point A to point B
Oh, yeah.
for your pipe. Because if your septic's higher than this, you're fucked.
It looks like it's going to be, doesn't it?
It does.
So you should have raised the house up.
One thing that's been a huge help throughout this entire process is having people around me who've done this before. My dad built the house he lives in today from the ground up with only himself and his brother, and my cousin Brian recently acted as the general contractor on this exact same manufactured home that he built for himself. Brian's also a licensed contractor, so it's been nice having both of them here to bounce ideas off of and ask questions along the way. Then you see me here on the left-hand side of your screen. I have to dig 2 trenches. One is for the main water line coming from the well. And here in Michigan, frost line is 42 inches, so that water has to remain 42 inches buried under the ground until it pokes up through your concrete. And with a solid concrete slab, it's kind of hard for that water line to push up through. So I'm burying PVC pipe. This is going to be a 4-inch PVC pipe. That way the well company can push their water line up through the PVC pipe and connect it to my home. The second trench I have to do is to bury a 3-inch pipe coming from the home going to my garage. And that's going to be a second water line coming off the well once that's installed to give me water out in the garage. And it's at this point where we called the inspector to have him come out, look at all the work that we did, and we failed. It was a simple overlook on our part. Basically what happened was this bank right here, top of this bank, was going to be my finished grade all the way around the house after I backfilled. And with the number of blocks that we had, we just weren't deep enough on the piers or on the footers to make him happy. Here in Michigan, for this area, we need to be 42 inches below grade. That way there's no frost heave, our concrete doesn't buckle or crack or anything like that.
and we were 4 inches short. This is about 2 foot to top of slab, plus 8 inches, plus a couple more inches for the piers, because the piers are 10 inches. And we were at, I want to say like 37.5 to 38 inches below grade, and we need to be at 42. So after talking to my contractor, after he talked to the inspector, the simple fix was to just go 1 more course of block, and then I'll have to backfill a little bit more around the entire house. Cost me a little bit more in block because now I got to add another row. It's going to cost me more to have the home set because now they got to stack 1 more course higher. So a simple mistake, it cost me about $1,500 in fixes. Otherwise, my contractor would have had to rip this all out. He would have had to dig the piers deeper, and it was just a lot more work. So the simple solution, 1 more course of block can be done with it. So yeah, mistakes suck, cost me money, but that's kind of what happens when you don't pay attention. So let's get back to the video and watch them pour some concrete.
Little fun fact, the guy with the black shirt, black hat, holding the come along, kind of walking around the concrete crew, owns the concrete plant and all the trucks bringing the concrete to the job. He's known Jeff for many years and has provided a lot of concrete for him over the years. He knows he does a good job, so he's not afraid to pick up a come along and help Jeff out wherever he needs it when he's there. He was pretty surprised when he pulled up onto my property because I grew up knowing him and his family. My parents owned a convenience store next to his concrete plant, and I seen Todd and his family every day. If you guys ever need concrete, make sure you guys look up Dave's Concrete in Lawton, Michigan, and he'll get you taken care of.
Now that the foundation is complete, I got the house scheduled to come here in about 2 weeks. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys when the house comes.